My Russian boyfriend is not a human. I'm Jessica and I've been with Dmitri for 2 years now. 2 years of late-night conversations, of him teaching me Russian phrases I can't pronounce, of his mother's incredible pelmeni that she'd bring over in huge containers. 2 years of what I thought was the most honest, open relationship I'd ever had. The first time it happened I didn't think much of it. It was late October, about 3 months into our relationship. Dmitri texted me saying he had a family emergency and would be out of touch for a few days. His phone went straight to voicemail. His parents' house sat empty. His younger sister Katya's Instagram went dark. Even his cousin Mail, who posted gym selfies like it was his job, went completely silent. 3 days later they all came back like nothing happened. When I asked Dmitri about it he got this look on his face. Not angry, not defensive, just closed off like a door slamming shut behind his eyes. Family obligation, he said. Very private, very Russian. You understand? Except I didn't understand. But I was in love, and love makes you stupid sometimes. The second year it happened I was ready for it. Same time, late October, October 23rd to be exact, like clockwork. This time I pushed harder. We were serious now. We'd moved in together. I'd met extended family members. His mother called me daughter and taught me how to make proper borscht. I'd earned the right to know, hadn't I? It's tradition, Dmitri said, packing a bag in our bedroom. Family tradition from old country. Some things are sacred, Jessica. Some things are just for family. That stung. After a year of living together I still wasn't family. I watched him pack. 3 days worth of clothes, his warm jacket, a framed photo I'd never seen before. It looked like him but younger with someone who could have been his twin. Who's that? I asked. His hand froze on the frame. My brother Alexe. You never mentioned a brother. He died long time ago. He closed the bag before I could ask more. That night I did what any rational, totally not crazy girlfriend would do. I drove to his parents' house. The lights were off. Both cars were gone. I waited in my car down the street for hours, feeling ridiculous and invasive and desperate all at once. They never came home. For 3 days I existed in this weird limbo. Dimitri's phone went to voicemail immediately like it was turned off. I texted Katya trying to sound casual. Nothing. I even messaged Mail asking about gym recommendations. Read receipt but no response. It was like they'd been erased from existence. Day 4 Dmitri came home. He looked exhausted. His eyes were red but not like he'd been crying, like he hadn't slept. He dropped his bag, pulled me into a hug and held on for a long time. I missed you, he said into my hair. And because I loved him, because he looked so broken and tired. I didn't push. But this year was different. We were talking about marriage. He'd been hinting at it for months, meeting with a jeweler, asking subtle questions about what I liked. His mother had started talking about wedding traditions, whether we'd do Russian Orthodox ceremony or American. So when October rolled around again, when October 23rd approached like a thundercloud on the horizon, I made my position clear. If we're getting married, I need to know. I said, no more secrets. We were in the kitchen. He was making tea. That strong black Russian tea he drank constantly. His back was to me but I saw his shoulders tense. Jessica, I mean it, Dmitri, I love you. I want to marry you but I can't marry into a family that disappears into thin air once a year and won't tell me why. The silence stretched out, the kettle whistled. He poured water into 2 cups, the steam rising between us like a wall. It will change things, he said finally. Once you know, you cannot unknow. You understand? My heart started racing. I understand. He turned around. His blue eyes looked almost gray in the kitchen light. Hey, this year you come with us. I should have felt victorious. I should have felt relieved. Instead, a cold feeling settled in my stomach. The next week crawled by. Dmitri was different. Distracted. He'd stare at nothing for long stretches. I'd catch him looking at me with this expression I couldn't read. Sad maybe or regretful. His mother came over for dinner and barely spoke to me. She, who usually talked my ear off about everything, who treated me like family, suddenly became formal and distant. When she left, she kissed my forehead and said something in Russian that made Dmitri snap at her. What did she say? I asked after she left. She said she will pray for you. That's nice. Oh. He looked at me seriously. She means she will pray for you because of what you will see. I laughed nervously. You guys are really building this up. Is this some weird Russian cult thing? Are you going to sacrifice me in the woods? He didn't laugh. October 23rd arrived cold and gray. I packed my bag with hands that shook slightly. Dmitri was quiet as we loaded the car. His parents pulled up in their old Mercedes. Katya in the back seat. Mikhail arrived on his motorcycle. One by one the family assembled. No one spoke much. We formed a convoy. 3 cars heading north out of Chicago into Wisconsin, then further north into Michigan's Upper Peninsula. The landscape got emptier. Trees pressed in from both sides of the highway. Small towns appeared and disappeared like memories. I tried calling my best friend Melissa before we got too far out just to check in. Dimitri's hand covered mine, gently pulling the phone down. No contact with outside for 3 days. Part of the rules. Rules? You will understand soon. We drove for 7 hours. My back ached. The sun set painting the sky orange and purple through the trees. We were so far north now that I'd lost cell signal an hour ago. Finally we turned off the highway onto a dirt road. Then from that dirt road to a smaller one, then onto what was barely a path, just 2 tire tracks through dense forest. We ended up at a gate, a serious gate 8 foot tall, topped with barbed wire security cameras, a keypad. Dimitri's father got out and entered a code. The gate swung open with a mechanical groan. Dmitri, I said slowly. What is this place? Private facility, he said. Very expensive, very secret. We drove through. The gate closed behind us with a clang that felt final. The road opened into a clearing. In the center sat a large building, not quite a hospital, not quite a house. Something in between. Gray concrete, small windows, more security cameras. Lights glowed from inside, warm against the cold October darkness. A woman came out to meet us. Older, white hair in a tight bun, wearing scrubs. She greeted Dimitri's father in Russian, hugged his mother, then looked at me. This is Jessica, Dmitri said in English. My fiancée, she is here to meet Alexe. My mind went blank. Alexe, your brother Alexe, you said he died. No, Dmitri said quietly. I said he was gone long time ago. I never said died. The woman, whose name was Irina, let us inside. The place was nicer than I expected. Warm. It smelled like pine and something medicinal. We walked down a hallway with several doors all closed. We are only facility, Irina explained in accented English. Only patient is Alexe. Family pays for everything. Private care, private staff, private security. No records, no paper trail. No one knows he is here. What? My voice came out as a whisper. No one answered. We stopped at a door at the end of the hall. Dimitri's mother was crying silently, tears running down her face. His father looked like he'd aged 10 years in the walk from the car. Katya wouldn't look at me. He will not know you, Irina said gently. He knows family, but not always. Some days are better than others. She opened the door. The room was large and comfortable. A bed, a desk, a television playing some Russian program on mute, bookshelves lined one wall, photos covered another, family photos old and new. A window looked out onto the dark forest. In a wheelchair by the window sat a man who looked exactly like Dmitri. Same height, same build, same bone structure, but his eyes were different. Vacant. He stared out the window, rocking slightly, humming tunelessly. Alexa, Dimitri's mother said softly, approaching him. She knelt beside the wheelchair, took his hand. My son, my beautiful boy, we are here. Alex turned his head. For a moment his eyes focused on her face. Something like recognition flickered there. Mama, he said. His voice was rough and used. She sobbed. His father came over, put his hand on Alex's shoulder. Katya sat on the bed, crying quietly. Dmitri stood beside me. Ramrod straight. He is why we come, he said. He is why we disappear. 3 days every year we come to be with him. What happened to him? I asked later. First we visit. The next hours were surreal. The family talked to Alexe like he was fully present. They showed him photos on their phones, told him about their lives, asked him questions he mostly didn't answer. Sometimes he'd smile. Sometimes he'd say a word or two. Mostly he rocked and hummed and stared. They were so gentle with him, so patient. Dimitri's father fed him dinner carefully, wiping his mouth between bites. His mother brushed his hair, singing a Russian lullaby. Katya read to him from a book in Russian. Dmitri just sat beside him, holding his hand. I felt like an intruder. This was sacred space, intimate grief. I didn't belong here. Eventually, Irina came to give Alexei his evening medications. The family said goodnight. Dmitri kissed his brother's forehead. Said something in Russian that made Alex's eyes focus briefly. He looks like you. Alex said clearly. My brother looks like me. Dmitri said. We are same but I am broken one. No Alexei. Your loved one. We left him there in his room arena staying to help him to bed. The family walked back to the main area in silence. This part of the facility had a kitchen, bedrooms for visitors, a living space. We'd be staying here for 3 days. Once we were settled, everyone sitting around a large wooden table. Dimitri's father finally spoke. You want to know story? He said to me. It wasn't a question. I nodded. He sighed. Pulled out a cigarette, lit it despite arena's no smoking rules. His wife didn't stop him. Alexia's older twin, he began. 7 minutes older than Dmitri. They were born in Moscow, 1989. Year of change. Year of chaos. Soviet Union falling apart. Everything changing. He paused, drawing on the cigarette. I worked for government then, not politician. Not important man. But I did work. Work that needed to be secret. You understand? I nodded, not really understanding. After Soviet Union fell, many secrets came out. Many people who did secret work became targets. Men I worked with, some disappeared, some had accidents, some went to prison on made-up charges. Russia was finding scapegoats, finding people to blame for old sins. His wife put her hand over his. We had to leave, she said. Come to America. Start over. Dmitri and Alex were 12 years old. Smart boys, good boys. They learned English fast, made American friends. They became American. But Alexei, he was always more sensitive. Dimitri's father continued, more thoughtful. He asked questions about Russia, about why we left, about what I did there. Katya spoke up. I was just a little girl, but I remember Alexei always trying to protect us. Always worried about keeping secrets. Always scared someone would find out. Find out what I asked. The silence was heavy. Dimitri's father stubbed out his cigarette. I was involved in things I am not proud of. Intelligence work during Cold War. Then during transition I provided information to Americans, to British, to anyone who paid. He searched for the word double agent, triple agent. I sold secrets to everyone. His wife made a sound. People died because of information I sold, he said flatly. Not directly by my hand, but my information led to deaths, led to arrests, led to families being destroyed. And when everything collapsed, I took money and ran to America with fake papers and new identities. My mouth went dry. Alexei found out, Dmitri said. When we were 23, he was helping Papa with taxes, found old documents hidden in safe, documents with real names. Real history. He read everything, understood everything. He fell apart, Katya said. Stopped eating, stopped sleeping. He kept saying we were living a lie, that we were complicit in murders, that everything we had was built on blood money. Dimitri's mother was crying again. We tried to get him help, therapy, medication, but he was drowning in guilt that was not his to carry. He tried to turn himself in, Dimitri's father said. Went to FBI office, told them everything, but they already knew. They already knew about me, about what I did. They had made deal long ago. I gave them information about Russian intelligence in America. They gave me immunity and protection. Alex's confession meant nothing. That's what broke him completely, Dmitri said quietly. Learning that American government knew that they were protecting Papa, that justice didn't exist. Not for people like us. I felt sick. What happened then? He went to roof of our apartment building. Kaka whispered. We didn't know. Didn't realize how bad it was. He went up there and she couldn't finish. He jumped. Dmitri said. 6 stories. Should have died. Doctors said it was a miracle he lived, but maybe it was curse instead. Traumatic brain injury. His mother said so severe. He woke up after 3 months in coma. But he was different. My Alexei was gone. This person who looked like him remained, but inside broken. We couldn't keep him in regular facility. Dimitri's father explained. Too many questions. Too many records. If wrong people found out he existed, found out what he knew. It would be danger for him, for us, for people back in Russia who I betrayed. So we built this. Dmitri gestured around, found this land, built this place, hired arena and small staff who we pay very well to keep secrets. We told everyone Alexei died, had funeral, closed casket, became ghost. Every year on anniversary of his jump we come here, his mother said. October 23rd we spend 3 days with him. It is our penance, our remembrance, our way of keeping him alive when world thinks he is dead. The room fell silent except for the hum of the refrigerator. I didn't know what to say. What do you say to something like this? Why bring me now? Finally asked. Dmitri looked at me. Because I want to marry you. But I could not marry you with this secret between us. You needed to know who I am, where I come from, what my family has done. What we are still doing. You're hiding him because of your father's past. We are protecting him, Dimitri's father said firmly. From people who would use him, hurt him. He knows too much even in his broken state. Some memories remain. Some names. Some places wrong person gets access to him, asks right questions. Many people could be hurt. So you've kept him locked up here for 12 years? Dmitri said. 12 years in this facility, safe, cared for, but prisoner. I stood up. I needed air. I walked to the window, looked out at the dark forest. Behind me the family sat in their shared grief and guilt. Does he know? I asked. Does Alexe know why he's here? Does he understand? Sometimes, Katya said. On good days he asks to go home. We tell him soon. We tell him when it is safe. He seems to accept this, but it will never be safe, I said. No one answered. As we all knew the truth. That night I barely slept. I was in a guest room, Dmitri beside me. He held me like he was afraid I'd disappear. Are you angry? He whispered in the dark. I don't know what I am, I said. Honestly, it's too much. I understand if you want to leave. If you want to leave me, did I? I loved him. I loved his family. But this your father sold secrets that got people killed, I said. And now your brother is paying the price. Yes. That's not fair. Well, nothing about this is fair. We lay in silence. Do you ever think about turning him in? I asked. Your father? Every day, Dmitri said. But he is my father and he is old now. Sick. What would it accomplish? Alexe would still be broken. Dead people would still be dead. There is no justice here. Only survival. The next day felt surreal. We fell into a routine. Breakfast together. Then hours spent with Alexe. The family rotated. Someone always with him talking, reading, playing music. They brought movies he liked, books, photos. They treated it like a normal visit, like he was in a regular hospital recovering from something temporary. But nothing about this was temporary. I spent time with Alexe too. Sat beside him. Tried to talk to him. Sometimes he'd look at me with clear eyes. You are new, he said once. Yes, I'm Jessica, Dimitri's girlfriend, Dmitri, he smiled. My brother, we were same before. I know, but I broke. He tapped his head. Broken here now. We are different. Do you remember what happened? His eyes went distant. I remember falling, flying for a moment. I flew like I was free from everything. From knowing, from guilt, I was just flying. Tears ran down his face. Then I woke up and I was still in cage. Different cage but still cage. I held his hand. What else could I do? On the second night after Alex was asleep, the family gathered again. Dimitri's father was drinking vodka. Not a lot, just enough to soften edges. You think I am monster? He said to me, I don't know what to think. Good. You should not know. World is not simple. During Cold War everyone was spy for someone. Everyone was betrayer. Everyone was traitor. I played game to survive, to keep family alive. To give my children future, and look at cost, his wife said bitterly. One son broken. Other son living lie. Daughter who cannot have normal relationship because she is always hiding. This is future you gave us. He flinched. I know. Do you? He was angry now. Years of suppressed rage boiling up. Do you know what it is like to visit ghost of your son every year? To see him trapped in body that does not work. Brain that does not work. To know he did this because he could not live with your choices. Enough. Dmitri said. No, she snapped. Not enough. Never enough. We pretend everything is fine. We come here 3 days per year and pretend we are good family visiting sick son. But we are cowards. All of us cowards who let Alex take punishment for sins that were not his. She stood up shaking. Katya tried to grab her arm, but she pulled away. She stormed out of the room. Dimitri's father sat there looking old and broken. He's right. He said, we are cowards. He poured another vodka, drank it in one swallow, stood up and walked out the opposite door. Just like that, the family fractured. Katya looked at me. Now you see, this is why we disappear. This is why we come here every year. Same thing. We fall apart. We blame. We cry. We rage. Then we put pieces back together and go home and pretend for another year. This is what you wanted to marry into. Dmitri said to me. Not accusing, just stating fact. That night I found Dmitri's mother outside smoking a cigarette even though she'd quit years ago. I am sorry you saw this, she said. I sat beside her on the cold bench. Asked to know. Knowing is heavy burden. She drew on the cigarette. I loved my husband. Still love him even now, but I hate him too. He gave us everything and took everything away both at the same time. Why do you stay? Where would I go? And who would I be without him? We have been together since we were young. Since before everything went wrong. He is not just a man who did terrible things. He is also a man who held my hand during childbirth, who read stories to our sons. Who taught Katya to ride bicycle. People are not simple. Alexe couldn't accept that. No, Alexe saw only black and white. Right and wrong. He inherited his father's intensity but not his flexibility. He broke against hardness of truth. She stubbed out the cigarette. You want my advice? Run. Run far from this family. Fine, normal man with normal problems. Have normal life, but you didn't run. I am Russian. We do not run from suffering. We embrace it. It makes us who we are. She looked at me. But you are American. You still believe in happiness, in fresh starts, in clean slates. Do not let us infect you with our darkness. The third day was quieter. Everyone was tired. Tired of emotions, tired of truth, tired of each other. We spent the day with Alexe, all of us together. We watched old Russian films, ate food his mother had cooked, played music for a few hours. We pretended to be normal family having normal visit. Alexe was having a good day. He was more present, more responsive. He laughed at jokes. He asked questions. For moments I could see who he used to be before everything broke. Jessica, he said in the afternoon, you seem kind. Thank you. My brother found someone kind. That is good. He deserves kind. So do you. He shook his head. I deserve this. I deserve to be here away from world. I know too much. I am dangerous. You're not dangerous. You're hurt. Sometimes. Same thing. As the sun set on the third day, the family said their goodbyes. His mother cried. His father stood stoically. Katya kissed his cheek. Dmitri held his twin brother for a long time. Next year, Dmitri promised. We will come back next year. I know, Alexe said. You always come back. It is the only thing I trust. We packed up, loaded the cars. Rena walked us out. He will be okay. Dmitri's mother asked. He is always okay, Irina said gently. We take good care. As we drove away, I watched the facility disappear behind us. The gate closed. The forest swallowed it. Within minutes, it was like it never existed. The drive back was silent. Everyone lost in their own thoughts. Dmitri held my hand the entire way. Sometimes he'd squeeze it gently like he was checking I was still there. When we finally got back to Chicago, back to our apartment, back to normal life, I felt like I'd been gone for months instead of 3 days. Dmitri made tea. We sat at our kitchen table, the same table where a week ago I demanded to know the truth. Well, he said, now you know, now I know. And I looked at this man I loved, this man who carried his brother's ghost, who disappeared 3 days every year to visit a living tomb, who was built from lies and secrets and blood money, but who had been nothing but honest and gentle with me. And I need time. I said, to process, to think. He nodded. I understand, but Dmitri, your father, what he did, the people who died because of him. Doesn't that matter? Of course it matters. It matters every day. But what would you have me do? Turn in my own father? Send him to prison? It would not bring back dead. Would not heal Alexe. Would only destroy what is left of family. So you do nothing? We do penance. Every year 3 days we face what we have done. What has been done to us. We do not run from it. We do not forget. Is that nothing? I didn't have an answer. The days that followed were strange. I went to work, came home, cooked dinner, watched television. Everything normal on the surface, but underneath everything had changed. I couldn't stop thinking about Alexe. Trapped in that facility. His mind broken by truths he couldn't reconcile. His body broken by a fall that should have freed him. I couldn't stop thinking about Dimitri's father. Living with guilt. Living with privilege bought by betrayal. Getting to grow old while others died young. I couldn't stop thinking about the family. How they'd built entire lives around one tragedy. One secret. How they disappeared once a year to tend to their hidden shame. Melissa called. We met for coffee. I couldn't tell her anything. How do you explain this? You seem different. She said, did something happen with Dimitri's family? Just got to know them better. And in families are complicated, she laughed. That's the understatement of the century. If only she knew. 2 weeks passed. Dmitri didn't push, didn't ask. Just waited. Finally one night I sat him down. I need to know something, I said. When you started dating me, when you asked me to be your girlfriend, did you have an agenda? He looked confused. What do you mean? Your father said he needed to look legitimate. American girlfriend, American wife. Does that help somehow with his cover? With whatever he's hiding from? Understanding dawned on his face, then hurt. You think I dated you as part of what family scheme? I'm asking. He stood up past haste. Jessica, I met you at coffee shop. You spilled latte on my laptop. You were mortified. I thought you were beautiful. That is how we started. Not secret plot. Not family agenda. Just me seeing you and wanting to know you. But later, after we got serious, did your family see advantage? He stopped pacing. Looked at me directly. My father mentioned yes, that having American wife would be good. Would make me look more established, more legitimate, would help with citizenship. But that was after I already loved you. That was not why I proposed. Are you sure? Am I sure why I love you? He looked almost angry now. You think I'm like my father, playing games? Using people? I think your father's son. I think you learned from him. That landed hard. He sat back down, put his head in his hands. Maybe you were right, he said quietly. Maybe I'm more like him than I want to admit. Maybe I am capable of same things. Using people, lying, surviving at any cost. That's not what I want to hear. But maybe it is truth. He looked up. I spent my whole life trying to be different from him. Trying to be good, honest, clean. But then I remember I hid my brother's existence. I let my father get away with murder essentially. I disappear 3 days per year to maintain elaborate lie. What does that make me? Human, I said. Makes you human or coward. Like my mother said. We sat in silence. I can't marry you, I said finally. Not yet. Not until I understand what I'm signing up for. He nodded. I understand. But I don't want to break up either. I need time. How much time? I don't know. More weeks passed. We existed in limbo. Together but not engaged. Loving but not trusting. He was patient. I was confused. I started researching, looking into his father's past. It wasn't easy. The man had covered his tracks well. But fragments existed. Reddit threads about Soviet double agents. Declassified documents. Anonymous posts from people claiming to know secrets. I found reference to a man matching his father's description. Code name Raven, suspected of providing intelligence to multiple agencies. Connected to several deaths of Russian intelligence officers in the 90s. Vanished in 1998. Presumed dead or in hiding. I found more. A news article from Russian website. Poorly translated. About families destroyed by betrayal during collapse. Names redacted but descriptions that fit. I found myself going down rabbit holes. Reading about consequences of espionage. About moral complexity of Cold War. About people who did terrible things for what they thought were right reasons. And slowly, without meaning to, I started to understand. Not to forgive, not to excuse, but to understand the world Dmitri's father had existed in was not my world. It was darker, more desperate. Survival was not guaranteed. Choices were impossible. There were no good options, only less bad ones. And Alexe, sweet Alexe, who couldn't reconcile at all, who saw his father's sins and made them his own, who couldn't live in gray when he needed black and white. One night I found myself crying for Alexe. For the boy who wanted justice, who wanted truth, who wanted to fix what was broken, but only succeeded in breaking himself. Dmitri found me on the couch, tears streaming down my face. What's wrong? He asked, alarmed. I'm crying for your brother, for the life he should have had. He sat beside me, held me close, started crying too. I cry for him too, he said all the time. Every day I think about him, about how we used to be identical. How people could not tell us apart. Now I am here living and he is there, half alive, trapped. Do you ever wish it was you? I asked that you were the one who jumped, that he got to live this life. Every day, he whispered. Every single day we held each other and cried. For Alexe, for the family, for the impossible situation everyone was trapped in. December came. The holidays approached. Dmitri's mother invited us for Christmas. I don't know, I said to Dmitri, being around your father. I know, but please, for my mother, she loves you. He does not have much joy. You bring her joy. So I went. The house was decorated beautifully. Russian traditions mixed with American. A tree with ornaments from both countries. Food that was elaborate and wonderful. Kata was there with her boyfriend who clearly knew nothing about Alexe. Dmitri's father was quieter than usual. He looked older, sicker, his hands shook slightly. During dinner he caught me looking at him. You judge me, he said. I see it in your eyes. The table went silent. Papa Dmitri warned. No, let her judge. He is right. He knows now. He knows what I am. I don't judge you, I said, surprising myself. I don't understand you, but I don't judge. He studied me. You are lying, but it is kind lie. I appreciate you did what you thought you had to do. I said, in world I cannot imagine. I don't know what I would have done in your place. You would have done better. He said, you are a better person than me. I don't know that I do. He raised his glass to Jessica, who sees our darkness and does not run. Who loves my son despite what we are. You are brave. Braver than us. Everyone drank. I didn't feel brave. I felt lost. After dinner, Dimitri's mother pulled me aside. Thank you, she said, for what you said to him. He carries much guilt. Your words helped. I didn't say much. You said enough. You gave him something he has not had in a long time. Permission to be human, to be flawed. We all need that sometimes. January came. It had been 3 months since the visit to Alexe. 3 months of processing, of thinking, of trying to understand. Dmitri never pushed. Never demanded answer about marriage. Just loved me. Showed up. Was present. One night I made a decision. I want to go with you next year, I said. In October to see Alexe again. He looked surprised. You do? Yes, I think I need to really understand. One visit wasn't enough. He said, okay, we will go together. And Dmitri, yes, I'm ready to talk about marriage again. Not today. Not tomorrow, but soon. I think I can do this. Be part of this family. Carry these secrets. He pulled me into a hug so tight I could barely breathe. You're sure? He asked into my hair. No, I said honestly. I'm not sure. But I love you and maybe that's enough. It is enough, he said. It is more than enough. The months passed. Life continued. We set a wedding date for the following June. Small ceremony. Just family and close friends. Melissa asked me once if I was happy. Think so. I said it's complicated. But isn't everything not usually this complicated? She laughed. But okay, as long as you're happy. Was I happy? I didn't know. But I was something committed, connected, part of something larger than myself. Even if that something was built on lies and blood and secrets. Summer turned to fall. October approached like it always did. Like clockwork, October 23rd arrived. This time I knew what to pack, what to expect, how it would feel. We made the drive. The same convoy, the same silence, the same sense of leaving the real world behind. The gate opened. The facility appeared. Arena greeted us and there was Alexe still in his wheelchair, still rocking, still humming. But when he saw me, his face lit up. Jessica, he said clearly. You came back. Of course I did. Most people do not come back. Once they know, once they see, they run. I'm not most people, he smiled. A real smile. You're family now. Family stays. Even when we are broken, family stays. And somehow in that moment it felt true. I was family now. Part of this strange, damaged, secrete-ping, guilt-ridden, loving, complicated family. I sat beside Alexe, held his hand. Tell me about when you and Dmitri were young, I said. Before everything, tell me about the good times. His eyes focused. Memory sparked. We were same, he said. Identical. We would switch places. Fool teachers, fool our parents. We were two halves of one person. You still are, I said, just differently now. He looked at me, really looked at me. You understand? I'm trying to. That is more than most, he said. That is enough. We sat together as the afternoon light faded. The family moved around us. Dimitri's mother cooking, his father on phone handling some business, Katya reading, Dmitri watching me with something like wonder. And I realized something. This was my life now. These secrets, these 3 days every October, this hidden brother, this complicated past, this imperfect family. And somehow impossibly I had chosen it. Not because it was easy, not because it was right, but because love is not about perfection. It's about showing up, about staying, about sitting beside someone in their brokenness and saying, I see you. I'm here. That night, after Alexe was asleep, after the family had retreated to their rooms, Dmitri and I stood outside under the stars. Do you regret knowing? He asked. Sometimes I think I should never have brought you here. Should have kept you separate from this darkness. Oh, I said I needed to know. I need to know all of you, even the dark parts. Especially the dark hearts. He kissed my forehead. You are extraordinary. You know that I'm ordinary, I said. I'm just someone who loves you. That makes you extraordinary. We stood there in the cold October night. Above us, stars wheeled in their ancient patterns. Around us, forest pressed close. Behind us, a building full of secrets and sorrow. And ahead of us, a future we'd build together. Imperfect, complicated, real. Next year, I said, we'll come back next year. Yes, Dmitri said. Every year for as long as Alexe lives. For as long as we need to. For as long as we need to, I echoed. And somehow that felt like a promise, like a vow. We went inside, back to the family, back to the vigil 3 days every year. That was the price, the cost of loving these people, the toll of joining this family, and I would pay it every October for the rest of my life because some secrets are too heavy to carry alone. Some burdens need to be shared. Some families need you to show up even when it's hard, even when it hurts. Especially then, I thought about Alexis's words. Family stays. Even when we are broken, family stays. And I understood now. Really understood this was love. Not the easy kind. Not the fairy tale kind, but the real kind. The kind that shows up. The kind that stays. The kind that looks at darkness and doesn't flinch. The kind that makes a home in the broken places. And that was enough.